but I'm having some trouble getting to the phone lines here. Here we go. Scared me for a second. All right, so I'm gonna post this number up here. Of course, feel free to chime in. Let's take some calls here before it gets way too late here. I do gotta work, so let's take some calls. I didn't even post the number yet. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't even expect this to happen. Actually, it's kind of slow for me today. This is the Juice. How you doing, April?
Hey, it's April.
Hey, good to hear from you.
Hey, I didn't know you were going to pick up. I just heard you saying,
Yeah.
you're having some problems with the phone line.
No, I was having trouble pulling it up because I was like buffering a little bit where I was, I guess, spinning. I guess it wasn't really loading, but we're good.
Okay,
We're
hey,
good now.
I'm not going to take too much of your time. But when this first happened, and I heard about this Sunday night the 1st, I read about it in bed that the 84-year-old mom of, Savannah Guthrie was a missing person. They didn't say kidnapped, abducted, unalive. They said a missing person. And the first thing I shouted out of my bed was, oh my God, she's been kidnapped. And the reason I said that was because as a PI and working with celebrity cases and seeing celebrity kidnappings and threat of kidnappings, that's the first thing that came to my mind. Oh my God, she was targeted because she's the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie. And that's before I knew who she was, before I knew where she lived, before I knew that neighborhood, before I met viewers who say they live in that neighborhood, before I met people who say they know Savannah. That's the first thing I said. And then all the facts started to come out about this case, the little, breadcrumbs that they're feeding us. And I was like, oh my God, this is not a typical kidnapping at all. Kidnappings don't work this way. People don't spend 41 minutes in a house. People leave ransoms at the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
There was a kidnapping in my immediate family, the Juice, before I was actually born, a couple decades before I was born. So besides my work, I had this in my own immediate family before I was born. It's for ransom. And you take the person and you get the ransom to the family immediately. You keep the person alive. You conduct a business transaction, and it's over. Nothing about this is like that.
Yeah.
Nothing. And it's not a burglary. It's not a robbery. It's not a home invasion gone wrong. It's not, oh, they were trying to go to the gym guy next door and they got the wrong house.
Yeah.
No, this was planned. This was surveilled. This was targeted. I got a viewer that lives 2 blocks from her in this neighborhood, whose husband used to work with Savannah way back early in their careers. She said, it's a maze. You just said that. It's
Yeah.
a maze. It's pitch dark. You can't see 3 feet in front of you. Okay? Somebody had to know the intimate details of the house, the security systems or the lack thereof, the cameras, the placement of the cameras, the gates, the doors, the screens, where her bedroom was. She didn't have her hearing aids on if she was in bed. They had to know exactly where to go to drag her out of her bed. Savannah said she was dragged out of her bed. There's oxygenated blood that's been aspirated at the front door. They definitely brought her home. I think she was definitely in the house. She was definitely dragged out of her bed. But I don't think this was just, hey, a kidnapping for ransom. These notes are either fake or they're red herrings written by someone with knowledge of the crime. Okay, now I'm going to get off the podium.
Oh,
Go
you're
for it.
all right. You're all right. You're fine. I was gonna ask you,
I
what do
get
you?
so upset.
I know
It's
it's
like 3 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep because I'm
yeah.
not thinking about this case for
It's getting
156 days.
yeah, and it's like as time continues to go by, you just find yourself more frustrated. I was
Yes.
gonna ask, what do you take from the family not speaking out, like specifically, A&T and Cameron? Do you think it would be
It's
helpful if
not
they were?
right. I'm not naming anybody guilty, but
Yeah.
I have interviewed thousands of witnesses. I've probably worked 8 to 10,000 cases in my career. when something like this happens, you are begging for people to help you. Oh my God, find my mother. You're not coming out in your car with a hoodie over your head and your hands in front of your face, ducking from the cameras, like you're acting like you are deceitful or deception. What's the word? It's 3:00 in the morning. It shows deception and shame. Now, I'm not saying that they're involved because I don't know if they are or they are not. But you don't just disappear. Where are they? Are they in a hotel? Are they at a friend's house? Did they go to Italy? What's going on? The police and the FBI spent more time, as far as the CSI units, at the daughter's house than they did at the house where the scene of the crime is.
Yeah.
If you're a sheriff, you don't release a scene, especially the first day when the first officers, the deputies came out and went, there's something more than a missing person here, and they called homicide detectives. How in the heck was that scene released within the first 20 to 30 hours before a lot of evidence was even discovered, before the FBI came into it? The sheriff doesn't do that. What sheriff gets on national television and says, oh, we're no longer talking to the family? What?
And how long do they plan on staying live freely again like they did before? I mean, I don't get the gist of it.
Who's paying their bills? Who's paying the mortgage? I mean, I know Savannah, she's probably taking care of, mom's bills while all this is going on. Because everything is in limbo. She hasn't been declared dead. Her whole, everything is in limbo right now. And then today, Savannah posts a picture on her Instagram and she's at the World Cup with her husband and her co-host.
Really?
And his wife. And she's all smiling. And I was like, what? I mean, I understand that she's contractually obligated to go on to the Today Show, but NBC did say, hey, we're going to give her as much space as she needs, yada, yada, yada. But she was out in public. And they were, and her husband took this selfie. And I'm like, it's like, has she moved on? Like, no, there's not been a peep out of Cameron. Annie Tommaso, they're just gone. And when this first happened, they were like, oh, don't look at me. Ah, you know what I'm talking about. People don't act like that. They would be going, find my mother, help me. They would be knocking on every door, handing out flyers. Why isn't the Cajun Navy coming? Why are we not? Nobody was even looking for her.
That's so sad.
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm confused myself.
There's so many red flags. But then we go down all these rabbit holes, and you just named some of them before I came on the air to talk to you. And, I've gone down those same rabbit holes, but then I go back to the beginning. I go back to square one, and I go, this is not as complicated as we're making it out to be. Number one, the Savannah Guthrie factor. It's connected to Savannah, her fame and her money, or revenge. Or number two, somebody close to her. 75 to 92% of people that are abducted, it happens by either a family member, a close friend, a neighbor, a worker at the house, could be even somebody who lived in her casita at one time, or someone connected to them. This is not just some random person who said, I'm going to go pick that house and see what happens and roll the dice.
I agree.
Absolutely 100%. Not. It's one or the other, and it could be a little bit of both. Because if it is someone that's closely connected, they thought, well, maybe I could get some money out of Savannah. Yep. But why? Stay in the house for 41 minutes. You go in there and you take her. And then the guy that wrote the phony ransom notes or the text ransoms, he sent the text ransoms. Not anywhere in those texts did he tell Annie and Tommaso where to send the money. Like, hey, how about my Bitcoin? I'm waiting to complete the transaction. But he didn't mention Nancy. He didn't mention a kidnapping. He didn't say, hey, this is where you send my Bitcoin. Don't you find that's a little strange?
Good point. Good point.
And people have read the complaint and said, no, that's all he said. Like, hey, how about my Bitcoin? It was as if he already knew the people that he was texting. And like I said, I'm not pointing the finger at them, because personally, I don't know if they are or they are not involved. I do have very strong suspicions as to who is at the door and who may be the getaway driver. I've already contacted the FBI twice by phone. I've sent an 8-page letter, talked to actually someone in my industry out in California who's a former retired FBI agent, and he said, your best bet is to write a letter. Maybe you'll have a better chance. There's no guarantee. Never heard back from anybody. I still think there's a certain group of people connected to this, but I do think they're probably worker bees or goons, working for somebody else. I could be totally wrong. I don't believe in the lone man, lone wolf theory at all. And, even the FBI agent said, well, it could just be one guy, and sometimes people get lucky. And I was like, in this case, I don't think so. I think someone has intimate knowledge. There's definitely more than one. Why are they not solving this? Why is the sheriff not? He was given all these press conferences. Now he's talking to nobody except that radio station last weekend or whatever it was.
Yeah. And
they're not. I'm not even talking to the family.
They're not pushing the envelope here. They're not pushing it at all. So if they're not pushing, nothing's happening. And I think that's one thing they mentioned in the interview room was they should start making an arrest when the cuffs are on. People start talking, and I think that they should start making arrests. But nothing's happening. I mean, it seems like they're more interested. Oh, I think I lost her. Can you hear me? We still live chat? I think I'm back, but I don't know what happened to her. I'll call her back here. I don't know why my internet. It's okay though, because I'm gonna have. Hey, I'm sorry. I think I lost you. It's all right, because when I move, I'm moving pretty soon here. I'll have better internet, so this won't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think your internet cut out or something.
One more week.
Yeah, I thought you were moving before, but
no.
Did you move to push back? Oh, okay. Yeah, because I knew it was like kind of coinciding with your case, and it was like, oh boy.
No, it actually got pushed more. It's actually sooner now than later. So actually, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
so.
Cool.
But,
well, yeah, just I know I say the same thing. Like I tell my viewers, like, I could talk till I'm blue in the face, and I always say everybody on my channel is innocent until proven guilty. I'm not pointing the fingers at anybody, but by about the second week, I had a pretty good idea who I think might be behind the mask. If I'm wrong, I still think he's somehow involved. I don't think he did it by himself. I think there had to be at least two at the scene. It's not like one of my viewers said, it's not like they took her out of the house and said, stay right here, Nancy, while I go get the car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I agree. What gets me is I don't know. Like, let's just say, for instance, it is the family. What are they waiting for? That's going to change, months from now if they were to come forward. Do they think like there's going to be less media attention a year from now? Like what's really going to change? Are they spending their last days with the family, and then they're finally going to, I don't know what to expect anymore. And I'm not saying it's the family. I'm just saying what would be the holdup, if that were the case.
Well, I think there's probably a security issue, because there's been polls and people that have been following this case, especially the internet detectives, the YouTube detectives. It seems like 80 to 85% of the population somehow thinks that the family may be involved. And if that's true, and I'm telling you right now, because, now they are famous themselves because of this case, they probably have been harassed or threatened. They have to, it may not be like, oh, we're running and we're hiding, although it sure looks like it when you're putting the hoodie over your head and covering your face, like, don't look at me. I would be jumping out of that car and running towards those news cameras saying, please help me find my mother. And I wouldn't leave town. They live 10 minutes away. I would be there every single day. I'd be at that sheriff's station. Why aren't you doing anything? And you know what? A lot of times in my, or not a lot, but several times in my career, I worked cases where the LAPD, when they couldn't do anything, and then the feds, specifically the FBI, got called in, they couldn't do anything. Then you called the experts. Then you call the PIs. I don't know
Yeah.
if there's any PIs working this. I don't, somebody has to do something
Yeah.
because the FBI should have made a move by now. And now when they made that statement the other day about the ransoms where they had to like clear everything up and they put a written statement out in the press, they said that the sheriff's department is still the lead agency in this case. And when I read that, I almost fell out of my chair. I'm like, oh, we're so screwed because for whatever reason, I don't know if Nanos has a relationship with somebody, if you know what I'm trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
for
It's
some
questionable.
reason, he doesn't want this solved. And when he talks to the press and he's like, oh, he's so calm and, oh, we're working on, I don't believe that. He's probably out fishing or playing golf, like he was at basketball games the first week this happened. Like, what's going on? Like, there's something wrong with this case. There's been something wrong since day one. And I just want her found.
Me too. I couldn't agree more. Somebody just sent me a message. I was trying to figure out who it was. It says, do you find it odd that when people say the family, they're usually referring to A&T. They refer to Savannah by her name. That's a good question. But I feel like when a lot of people are referring to the family, they're specifically referring to A&T. But I mean, there's not too many other people in the family to refer to besides those two and, Savannah and Cameron. Other than that, we don't really know of many other family members.
Well, Cameron was in Vermont and Savannah was in New York. And the family who were the last people to see her, well, supposedly, the last person that we know for real saw her last was the female Uber driver because they interviewed her and they've got video of her in that Uber.
Yeah.
Okay. But we have no proof that she, what happened after she got to that house. Now, a lot of people were like, oh, no, they took her out and they set the whole thing up. Like, no, she came home because there's no way to get aspirated blood. If that really is aspirated blood droplets, that happened. She was there. Now, I'd love to know, was there blood on the other side of that door? What type of physical evidence was in the house? Does she have a safe? Did it look like somebody tried to open it?
Or
but they said the house was immaculate. Yeah, what's in it?
Yeah.
Well, this is an 84-year-old woman who was very immobile. She could walk with a cane, but some days her pain was so bad. Savannah said she couldn't make it from the front door to the mailbox. Yeah. How does an 84-year-old woman keep the house that nice? I mean, apparently she did have a housekeeper, but I don't know if she was there every day. She obviously didn't have a caregiver that lived in the house. Why didn't she have a Nest subscription? Someone's now saying she did, and it lapsed. I still want to know about the second mortgage that was taken out in 2017. There could be a logical explanation. If I were the FBI, I would have all the forensic accountants looking at everybody closest to her. But you either have to rule them in or rule them out within the first couple of days to a week, and then you spread the net, and then you start looking for her. Nobody's looking for her. Where are the cadaver dogs? Where are the searchers?
Yeah. And besides, I feel like, because I was saying that I think, it's meant to inflict pain. Who else would they really would have, went after if that was the intent, was to inflict pain? I think the one and only person is Nancy. I mean, other than that, it would have been far much more difficult for somebody to go in that home and, remove somebody like Annie. Because I know Chris brought it up and said, he mentioned Savannah and Annie are both beautiful women. Why not them two? Well, they're surrounded by men. So I think it would be much more difficult for somebody to go in their home and do that. Not only that, they have children living with them.
They have children. They have security. Now, I wouldn't say Annie and Tommaso, but you don't realize how much a celebrity has security. and not just their own, but she has security provided by NBC. And those kids are so guarded. If you wanted to hurt Savannah, it'd be very hard to get to her husband, or her kids. But there's her mom, 84 years old, living in that big house out in the desert. You would think, oh, that's an easy mark. But then when you see where that house is and how big of a neighborhood that is, and the house size, and that security screen across the front door, and the maze and the darkness, and, like, somebody, whoever's involved, has intimate knowledge. And it may not be the goons that came, because the porch guy to me doesn't look that sophisticated. He really doesn't. I just don't think it's a sophisticated front porch guy. And he's been there before, if we're to believe what's on the video footage. Now, the FBI agent I consulted with said there's probably a lot more video that they have that they're just not showing to the public. They just showed us little teeny clips because they wanted people to see, like, do you recognize this guy?
Yeah, and
also,
it's
really suspicious.
I don't feel like this is luck anymore. And I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't feel like this is luck anymore. I think a lot of people question whether or not this was luck, as far as this person getting away with this long. I just truly think this person knew exactly what they were doing. I don't think that they were an amateur in any way. And I don't know if you think that, but just to throw that out there, I think that this was well planned. I just think that's just what I think. I don't.
Well, I'm still on the side of the coin that it's shoddy police work.
You say it again?
There's the flip side of that coin, that they were amateurs and it was shoddy police work. That scene was compromised within the first day. It's kind of like the JonBenet Ramsey case 30 years ago. They had narcotics detectives. They didn't have any homicides in Boulder at the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Then someone who was probably involved about 6 weeks later was found deceased on that case, and the police ruled it a suicide. It was not a suicide. Somebody silenced that person, and that got botched. And it's 30 years later, they can never recover from the crime scene was botched the first day by Detective Linda Arndt. You can't recover from mistakes like that. These are big mistakes. And then you throw in everything with the red flags. It's just, last week I was hopeful they probably have somebody in mind, but they just, they need to wrap this up in a nice little package with a neat little bow on top for the DA. But now I'm getting negative again. And I'm like, maybe they don't have anything. This is just, what is going on? I'm losing my mind to just, oh my God. I'm losing I can't sleep over this.
Yeah.
I'm glad I met all the people that have come to my channel. I'm glad I met you. I love watching you guys, the boots on the ground, because I can't be there. So I admire you guys. But, it's July.
Yeah. Yep.
What's going on?
155
Why are
days.
they not looking for Nancy Guthrie?
And have they even really been looking? Have they even been looking?
I know. And then there's dissension in the FBI amongst the agents involved in this case as to what's real, what's fake. They can't even, they're not on the same page with one another.
Criminal Network, good to see you, my guy.
And then you got to deal with this sheriff's department that apparently is ruled by a possibly, I can't say for sure, but he could possibly be not straight as far as corruption. I don't want to say that word, but something's not right. I wanted to give the guy the benefit of the doubt the first week or so.
Yeah.
But then I was just like, I can't give this guy the benefit of the doubt anymore. And then, he's too politically connected to people in Tucson.
Yeah, he is. So have you
And
been
so was
able
his
to
wife.
to narrow it down? Because I feel find it difficult for me to narrow it down to one or two people or possibly three perps that may be involved in this. I'm right now.
I've got two
I'm
people in mind
yeah. Okay.
as far as the boots on the ground,
Yeah.
meaning the goons.
I don't know why I'm back down to one. I mean, that's where I was at in the beginning, and then I was at two, but for whatever
You
reason, I'm
could
back
be
to
right.
one.
Nobody has ratted anybody out yet. Nobody has collected the $1.2 million. How
Exactly.
does that happen?
Exactly.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. What is it, 3 in the morning? 4? I don't even know what time it is now. Like, I'm so emotional over this. Some days I just want to pull my hair out and just cry. Like,
Criminal.
like, and I don't even know Nancy, but I feel like I know that whole family
Criminal
now.
Network says before you know it, it's going to be August. Before you know it, it's going to be
And then
December.
to see Savannah at the
My
World Cup, I'm
goodness.
like, what are you doing? Like, oh my God. And her husband's taking a selfie, like, with
Yeah.
this dumbass look on his face. Excuse me, I didn't mean to curse on your show, but
No, you're good. You're good.
just like, what are you doing? Looking like a jerk, Like, what is going on? That just totally threw me. Totally threw me that they were out. She wasn't like at an event for NBC that she was working. They were just like sitting in the audience, in the stands.
Wow, I had no idea Savannah went out to the soccer game. Because I don't, I personally don't follow her, and I really
I don't,
don't actively check her Instagram. I did in the beginning of time, but now I really don't pay much of mind to it. I've heard she's deleted some stuff, but I went and checked, and everything appears to be there that I saw before.
okay.
So I mean, I don't know what's really going on her her Instagram, but I guess I can't really put her under the bus for going to a game.
I know.
Just because,
I was just so surprised.
yeah, and I
I
don't,
love Savannah. I adore Savannah.
yeah, and I don't know what wishes Nancy has for her children. Meaning, if she passes away, what she wants her children to do. Like, some parents are big believers in, just go on, live your life. Don't sit here
Oh
and
yes.
dwell on me. I don't know if she's living her life in that way and moving on like that. I don't know. So that's the only reason why I don't. It's bothering, but then it's not. So I don't know.
She'd probably be saying, "Don't worry about me, and you got to go on with your life, and you got to go on for the sake of the grandchildren." And that's probably what she would say.
Yeah.
When her husband died, she moved her mother and her handicapped brother with Down syndrome into her home. So now she's a widow with 3 children. Apparently, Cameron was just about the age that he was leaving or had left, but still had the 2 daughters at home. Brought her mother there, brought a handicapped brother there. I guess they lived there for years. Got a job, eventually worked full time, had a full career, has her friends, go out. She goes out to game night. She gets together with her grandkids. She still drives. She's just kept marching forward. And to have lived 84 years and to have it end like this. And I know the guilt that Savannah must feel when it's not her fault. It's not her fault. And I hope that she never feels like, I think she does feel like it is, because she asked her brother right away, like, you think it's because of me? And she was crying, and he said, yes, sweetie. And he was thinking that too, because that's the first thing I said. Even when they just said she was a missing senior, like she'd walked out of her house. I was like, oh, no. She's the mother of Savannah Guthrie. Oh, my God, she's been kidnapped. I just, as a PI, I was like, oh, no. And that's before I knew where she lived or what the neighborhood looked like, what the house looked like, how dark it is, before I knew about Front Porch Guy, and then all this stuff started coming in, and I'm like, well, now I'm not so sure it's a kidnapping, because this doesn't sound like it. But I still do think the bottom line, no matter if it's an outsider or somebody close, it's all about money. There is definitely money involved here, unless it's just some weird, stalker, psycho, lone wolf guy who's like, I can't get to Savannah, so I'm gonna get to her. Because I used to work for somebody who's like super enormously famous. He was a billionaire. He's still alive. Everybody would know who he is, but I'm not going to say his name. And everybody was like always like going to his mother's business because that's as close as they could get to him. And for years, he like wanted his mother to close that business and take care of her. He had billions. Like, mother, you don't have to work. She was in her 70s, in her 80s. She was still working at that business. Like, no, this is my job and this is my life. And they had to have security there all the time because she was always being targeted because she was the mom of this famous person. It happens. It happens every day. These people are under threats. So, but then when you hear all these things about these rumors about people in Tucson and the family and the red flags, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm so tired. I probably sound like an intoxicated person, and I don't even drink, after cancer, like I've always been like clean and sober, but this is making me crazy. This is giving me nightmares at night.
Yeah, no,
I've got
you
more
don't sound drunk
security.
at all. You're speaking the truth in my opinion. I mean, it's I,
I've got extra security cameras in my home now,
yeah,
just because.
yeah,
Because there's some mass person going to come in the middle of the night and
yep,
grab me out of my bed,
yeah. And this
you
is what
know?
this case has done to a lot of us. It's traumatized us. It's made us overthink, and it's also a reminder to make sure you keep yourself safe at all times because you never know what could happen to you. It could be you next. For all you know, and this guy's still out there. He's still out there. He hasn't been caught.
Oh,
So
I've been thinking about that a lot this week. That person or people is still out there, and we still don't know the reason why. We don't know the motive, and I've always thought that the reason that Savannah's sister and brother-in-law disappeared was a security issue. I don't necessarily think that they just ran like, oh, we better go hide, or, like people are looking at us, or I really think that they're probably being threatened.
yeah.
It's like this is big. That we don't know if
Criminal Network says that
somebody else is
Nancy
going to
has
be
not had
next.
a funeral. Will she ever? Does
I
she
think
go unsolved
they are in
forever?
hiding
Why no
for their
urgency by the
safety
Guthrie family on finding
more
Nancy?
than,
I
they're in
agree.
hiding because they know something
100%.
about this. Like,
Who
I mean,
knows?
they could.
Good questions.
Everybody is a suspect, in my opinion, until this case is solved. I hope for Savannah's sake and the children's sake, even their child's sake, that they're not involved. But I do think it's a security issue where, nobody's even seen them in town. Nobody's seen their car. Somebody would figure it out sooner or later where they are if they were there.
Well, somebody's got
They're
to be
probably not even
driving.
in the country.
Somebody's driving their car because I was there like about last month. And you know what? From now, actually, I'm gonna start driving by there just to see if I see any Maybe I shouldn't say that. No, I'm not. I'm not driving by there. But anyway,
Okay.
a month ago, about maybe
Don't
a
you do
month and a half.
that.
Yeah, a month or a month and a half ago, I was driving by Annie and Tommaso, and their car was not there. And then a week after that, I drove by, and then their car was outside. So I don't
Oh,
know if somebody's driving their car or they're, still actively using that car. I don't know, but if they are, they're still in the same vehicle they were last seen in when, all of the FBI was at their
okay.
house. So I don't know. I don't know. They might still be here. I got a really good feeling they're still here. I don't think
Oh,
that
really?
they're I do. I
I
don't think
thought
that
they
they're out of the
were, but
country.
now I completely done a 180 on it, and I'm like, oh, they're probably in Italy or someplace. Like, something's not right.
Yeah, no,
Something's, like,
I think they're still here.
okay.
I
See,
don't,
you
I
know,
don't know though.
depending on what mood you're in, we flip flop. You know,
It's
because I'll go down these dark rabbit holes. You know, sometimes on my lives, and I'll be like, well, maybe, and then I go, no, everybody just go back to square one. It's either this or it's that, or it's a combination of the two. End of story.
this case is hard.
But where is she? I need her to be found. I need the perps to be found. And the FBI agent said it would still be pretty easy to prosecute even without a body. And he said the longer that it goes,
I
and
heard
he's not
that.
working the case, but he said the longer it goes, there's more of a chance that they would find the perp before they would ever find her, and that they may have to do one of these prosecutions of putting people away without a body. And that made me really sad, because he's like, the longer it goes, the less of a chance of actually recovering any remains.
Next week, we might have, a whole completely different theory for all we know. I mean, I can't I can't even count the amount of times my theory has changed. It's been, I mean, it hasn't completely changed, but there's been several things throughout my theories that I've had, that I had to go back and rethink things, change it, go back, and I don't know.
I think you and I are kind of on the same wavelength about there's a big question mark as to what this really is.
For sure. And I think it's more simple than, like you were saying, I think it's more simple than what a lot of us are making it, for sure.
Like I said, it's the best thing I could compare it to is the cluster F. I'm not going to say the words, but the cluster F of the John Benet Ramsey case. And this December 25th, 26th is the 30th anniversary of that.
Yeah.
I won't even be around 30 years from now to be talking about this. You will, because you're a young man. You have your whole life ahead of you.
Don't say that. You'll still be here. My goodness.
I'm old now. I can't believe I lived this long. Even with everything I've been through, stage 3 cancer and, heart side effects, like, how the heck am I still here? And then I think, there's a reason I'm still here. And then, my YouTube channel started to grow a little bit. It's still like nothing compared to you, but it's like I've met all these wonderful people that come in that want to see me and talk to me like every day. And I met you. I would have never met you. I'm trying to look at the positive in all of this, but I just feel like I almost feel responsible. Like I want to be the one to solve this, and I'm not even working the case. I'm like, what can I do? What can I do to fix this? What can I do to help Savannah? Like, how can we find Nancy? How can we find the bad guys who did this? How can we have them put away? And I know all you guys, boots on the ground, you feel in the same way. You're so vested in this now.
Yeah. It's a unique case. It's a very unique case. It's very interesting. It's a never-ending case, it seems like. And I hate to say that because I hope it comes to an end, but I mean, it seems like this is one of those cases that are just never-ending, forever rabbit holes. When are we going to really get something? It seems like we haven't.
Well, I appreciate you. I really enjoy your channel. I don't get a chance to watch many of the other YouTubers because I'm so busy putting out my next videos. But I always, whenever I see you go on live, even though I'm losing sleep, I'm like, I gotta go on. Like, or I gotta talk to you, or I gotta listen to you, or I gotta, be in your chat and engage with your viewers. And, I've met so many people that came from your chat over to my chat, and I tell everybody when I'm on the air, some people have asked me, like, who's the Juice? And I'm like, oh, this is who he is. And you need to go subscribe to him, and you need to go watch his videos. And, so I'm helping push people your way, even though my channel was so wee small compared to yours.
Oh, stop. I mean, growth takes time, and my channel's actually slowed down a bit. So, I mean, we both got a lot of work to do, and I appreciate you spending time, and not only in chat, but spending time to come talk to me and continuing to share your love and support. It's a blessing, and I appreciate it.
Well, good luck with your move, and I'll keep listening to you whenever I can. And let's just, hashtag justice for Nancy.
Indeed, justice for Nancy. Bring Nancy home. I agree.
Absolutely.
Well, much love to you. Good
You
talking with you,
too.
April.
Love you, man.
All right. Love you
Okay.
too. Bye.
Good night.
Good night. Well, shouts April. I appreciate her calling in and always chatting with me, and it's always a good conversation. So much love to her.